Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker. This is Marcus, and of course, I've got my main man, Lewis, here with me.
How's it going?
So, we had to break down, those biker trends, biker fads into a two-parter. I knew that we were going to roll deep. I mean, we tend to have some pretty long conversations on stuff that's a lot less relevant. So, where did we leave off? Do you remember?
So, didn't we leave off at the 70s?
Well, I remember we were talking about the cafe racers.
So, I think that was kind of like in the 60s. I think we were supposed to catch back up on the 70s.
You know people listen to this are going to...
Gonna
You
comment.
idiots!
You idiot. Can you remember? Yeah. That's all right.
Well, we're not rolling this back to back, just so y'all know. It's literally been 7 days since we recorded part one.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're making all this up as we go anyway, so it's kind of hard to remember all of our lies.
yeah. Well, I don't know if there's a better way to do this. I'm going to try and slide this box just a touch there. Okay. So, what do you have on your list there as people start rolling in the 70s? But, well, hang on. Let me interrupt you. Did you do your research on tassels?
I did not do my research on tassels, and I have a perfectly good explanation for it. Because tassels are ridiculous and nobody cares about them.
Okay. Valid point. Let's go. 70s.
All right, so 70s, chop, bob, build.
Chop, Bob, Bill.
Chop, bob, build.
Okay.
So you remember every time you look back into the the old badass biker style, it always comes up the 1970s kind of Easy Rider.
Yeah,
extended forks.
That's what I was immediately when you start talking about the 70s and those bikes. That's chopping and bobbing. That's what I picture. I picture Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper, Easy Rider.
Yep.
And those two bikes, if you look at them, are kind of drastically different build styles too. Mm-hmm. For the most part, same motorcycle. For the most part,
Right.
But you're talking one is that standard black with the flames and the shorter drag bars, but then you got the bike that Peter Fonda rides, the Captain America bike or American flag bike or USA bike, whatever you want to call it, but chromed out everything down to the frame.
Yeah.
American flag paint job, stretched out front end, tall bars.
Yeah.
So-
well, and it also kind of set up the motor company itself. Talking about Harley, it was great advertisement for the corporation itself. Even
Yeah.
when at this time Harley's not doing so well, quality's down. It's the AMF era, right? And in a lot of ways, when I think about this particular time period, this very well could have, had it not been for this trend, this fad, this style, how would have it affected the motor company today?
Yeah, well, I mean, for sure, because you started rolling into a point in time where a lot of those things. Now, little things through time have always kind of still gotten used, okay? And there's things that are still used on bikes all the way back to the 20s and the 30s, those things that people did to customize those machines.
Mm-hmm.
But really, once you started getting to that, late 60s, 70s time period, there's a lot of stuff people started doing during that time period that's still fairly relevant today.
Oh yeah, well, I mean that the whole chopper, extended forks, and everything that came back into play in the 90s.
Yeah, well,
big time.
But even still, like I said, looking at Peter Fonda's bike that he rode in that movie, chromed out frames, dude. Guys are taking performance baggers right now, and they're chroming frames and they're getting polished aluminum frames, and they're doing those things. Those things are coming kind of back into fashion. But I think obviously that was also kind of the birth of chrome.
Yeah.
There was chrome before that.
Yeah.
You didn't have people chroming everything.
No. And that would also go into the 80s too, because,
Chrome got here, and Chrome didn't really leave until, honestly, within the past probably 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's like that, my dad's Road King, it's chrome from, tip to tail, everything,
Yeah.
every little piece that you could, every, bolt cover, whatever you could find, chrome.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about motor clothes for a second.
Okay.
So, during the 70s, what you see in the motor clothes department now, or, if you're shopping, Amazon, whatever the case is, doesn't necessarily have to be a particular brand, but a lot of that styling is still here today. Your flannels, your leather. Any idiot that wants tassels, you can still get them.
The leather jacket that has the John American flag on the back that says USA across the shoulders.
So that one is not as ridiculous as the one, and somebody I really want to call out for wearing it.
That wasn't a motor company product. That was like sold in leather shops.
Yeah, but it was a huge style back then. It was a huge
style.
So, okay, the jackets with the huge collar, leather jackets, huge collar, and they almost have, I don't understand, they have this damn belt that goes around.
No. Don't be harping on that. That's what I recall, I refer to as like the old school leather biker jacket. I know what you're talking about.
It's definitely old school leather
So,
biker jacket.
they wore them in, what was the first Mad Max?
I can't remember.
Anyways, before everything went to crap, they were wearing them. The police were wearing them. And police departments actually used those jackets. So that collar that you're talking about, what you never see people do it. So the point of that collar was you could actually zip it up. The collar would fold over and essentially make like a leather cover around your neck.
And I've never, ever, ever seen anybody do it.
That might be true. That's how it's designed, though.
Sure.
That's how it is designed. But that style of jacket, there's a lot of jackets that aren't too far off from that.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
the
belt on that, okay, if you look at a lot of these current jackets, you have cinch points inside, or you have something where you can kind of pull it up and change a button. Or I think on yours, it has a little something on the side, maybe like a little zipper or something down on the side. Anyways, that's just to adjust it around your waist, because leather is not something that's really kind of a form fit type thing for a generalized leather jacket. So that helps it become more of a form fit. But those jackets aren't just 60s, 70s, bro. You do understand that, right?
I understand that I don't see anybody. That is the least desirable jacket on the market right now. It looks ridiculous.
So
come in here with all your facts, tell me about how this stuff. It looks ridiculous. That's
my
all that
brother.
matters.
My brother bought one from Wilson's Leather. Do you remember Wilson's?
I do.
So my brother bought one from Wilson's Leather when he was in high school. Now he's in his 40s now, but he bought one from Wilson when he was in high school, and it's gotten too small. Obviously, it won't fit me, but guess who's in current possession of that jacket?
Son.
Heather.
Ah.
Heather now has that old school leather jacket. It fits her perfect, too.
Well, they don't wear out. That's the good thing about leather. That's the reason I love mine. I mean, it doesn't wear out.
Yeah, I bought that leather jacket I have. I bought it right after I first started riding. And I was like, I want me a good leather jacket. It is still a good leather jacket.
Yeah, there's really no replacement for a good leather jacket for sure.
Yeah.
Wore mine today, a little chilly outside, but nothing gets through it.
Matter of opinion.
No, that's the fact.
No. Sweatshirt and a vest. That's how I rolled it today.
On your 3.5 minute ride to the dealership?
It's longer than 3. It's like 5.5.
I'm sorry. You know what? You're right. I stand corrected. 5.5.
I thought you were going to say something about the fact that I have a fairing. And I was like, buddy, you have a fairing too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make that argument. Hey, My hands are above my ferry.
Did you have gloves on?
I did have my gloves on.
Oh, good. The clothes. A lot of it was timeless. You know,
Yeah.
the whole biker style, and even when you think of the word biker now, for people that are not necessarily riders, it's funny how much of a trend that was back in the day, because that's still what somebody thinks of today. You know, they've got leather jacket, one of those leather. What are those leather hats?
Yeah, I know the hat.
That, like the dude in the
the
Village
hats.
People wore, you
I
know?
know the hats,
Leather vest.
I don't know where those hats started at.
Hopefully they're gone forever. And then the chaps.
Yeah, well, chaps are a lifesaver though too.
They are. They really are.
Um,
I've converted over to some insulated pants to kind of wear over my jeans.
Yeah.
I do have a pair of chaps though.
well, and I would. There's that noise again. I would love to have a pair of overpants. Hang on, let me see.
Yeah, the overpants are great.
What do we got going on here? Okay, now it's gone. It's just some crazy technical difficulties. It's gone. Anyways, yeah. So I've got chaps. I love my chaps.
I do too.
I was big about no chaps for years. I was like, I don't want to be the guy wearing chaps. I've got chaps now. I love my chaps. Now, I don't wear them all the time. I have a point where I'm like, okay, below this temperature. And even then, for me, it's really distance too.
Yeah.
Because like we just talked about, you know, I'm about a 5.5, 6 minute ride to the dealership, going the speed limit. And if it's 35 degrees, 40 degrees, I'll still roll up here with no chaps if I know that it's going to be nice enough later
Yeah.
to where I'm past that point.
Yeah.
But if I was, say, Shannon, okay, Shannon's got like a 35-minute ride to work.
Yeah.
I'd probably be, I mean, if it was 55, I'd probably have on my chaps for that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the good thing about having the touring bikes, the baggers. You can always carry that stuff with you.
Well, and that's kind of part of the reason why I'm at that point where I'm like, chaps, no chaps, gray area, because I am on my bike so much that I'm always thinking about storage.
Right.
Because there's been many a times where I've left the house with empty saddlebags and I've come home with them full.
Yeah, that tends to happen when you have your wife riding with you, or you have a wife that has a perfectly good bike with perfectly good saddlebags that wants to take them off and leave them in the garage.
I feel like somebody's been called out. Doesn't a Heritage come with really nice leather
You know, a
saddlebags?
Heritage does come with very nice saddlebags.
Okay.
It does.
Look.
And you know what? They
Hey.
take up a lot of room in my garage, too. I'm
Hey.
sitting here looking at my wife right now as I'm saying
So,
this.
yeah, we don't need a domestic.
First
We
cop
don't.
comes through the door, we're putting them on the podcast. Hopefully they're riding a bike.
Okay, so rolling in motor, motor clothes.
Motor
became
clothes.
timeless.
Comes out. So check this out. So I was watching something a while back. I think it was something maybe on Discovery or something about, history of Harley Davidson. There's probably 1,000 of them out there. Willie G,
Yeah,
very involved
Yeah.
in this time,
beret.
starts paying very close attention at what these guys are doing from the late 60s into the 70s when he's getting really involved.
Yeah.
In comes the Super Glide.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So-
it was the answer. It was basically.
You haven't been to Barber yet, though, have you?
I haven't been to Barber.
They've got a first gen. down
So that bike was the motor company's like, you know what? I've seen what you guys are doing
there. Yeah.
on the aftermarket here, doing your own stuff. I like it. I'm going to give you something very, very similar to this. As
Yeah.
similar as we can get and still be DOT approved. And you know what was funny is the elders in the company, they hated it. When somebody would buy their bike and then they immediately go home, chop it, do this, do that, they hated it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, we spent all this time and money and effort giving you a motorcycle, and the first thing you do is you go tear it apart and do your own thing with it. Willie comes in, he's like, I love it. I'm going to come in and copy your ideas a little bit and give you something new. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what he did.
Well, I think it helped the motor company grow.
It absolutely,
He really ushered in, and he did for years and years and years, ushered in a new era, a new way of doing certain things that made kind of all the difference in the world on a lot of stuff. I mean, most people know, but you know that kind of the iconic Harley skull that people do. That's the Willie G skull.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his.
Yeah.
You know, one of the greatest, don't hate now, one of the greatest motorcycles that Harley Davidson has ever made, the V-Rod. That was that was him, though.
Yeah.
He understood when people, you know, when that came out and people were kind of harping on Harley, oh, slow Harley. Okay, now here's a motorcycle that's only 1,150 cc's. It's going to wax that butt.
Well, now, I mean, yeah, I don't.
I mean, it wasn't. I think it was way ahead of its time
I think,
with that.
and Harley's not the only one. At this same time, with that bike, not getting too far off topic here, but with that bike, the V-Rod, Yamaha Warrior, Kawasaki Mean Streak, Honda, the first gen Honda 1800.
Probably somewhere around
And
there.
then M109. Every
Well,
motorcycle.
you also had the VMAX, which was out before, but it was still a relevant motorcycle.
Yeah, but not relative to the point I'm fixing to make now
Okay.
because, well, here it goes. That was every motor company's, hey, here's the bike you didn't ask for. There it is.
Right.
And gave it to us.
Yeah.
Unlike the VMAX. The
Still
VMAX
these
is still a pretty
headsets.
cool bike. So anyways, staying kind of in the 70s here.
Is that our headsets that's causing that?
Oh, I don't know.
Are you hearing the same thing I'm hearing?
Yeah. So, about what people were doing. So, it was one thing with the,
Do you still hear it?
a little bit.
Okay. I don't know. I pulled my headset off. In case y'all try to figure out, we got a little ticking going on in the background. Hopefully y'all don't hear it.
So, now, what's funny is you start getting towards like the late 70s. We're getting into 76, 7, 8, almost to the 80s.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting about this time is we're now laying the foundation for what's going to become the sport bike.
Yeah, well, I think me and you had kind of talked about that on our own once before, about realistically getting into the 80s, those Japanese motorcycles and everything. It's kind of the birth of modern sport bikes. When I was doing the blogging and I rode the 900 LTD, that was something I'd even wrote. You can, when you ride that motorcycle, you can see that you get a better idea of a lot of things on a modern sport bike from riding that, because when you ride it and you spend time on it, you go, oh, you know, just change this a little bit, just change this a little bit, maybe just change this a little bit. By the time you get done changing it, you're talking about having a modern sport bike.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that evolution. Realistically, to me, though, with kind of the topic at hand, when you talk about that, though, you start to get into a point in time where those fads and everything start speeding up.
Yeah.
You know, we went for so long where you had, you know, a fad that would last 10 years.
Yeah.
20 years, something of that nature, to a point of where fads are lasting a year,
Yeah.
2. I mean, sometimes you almost feel like everything's speeding up because you get to points now in social media where something, whether it's TikTok or whatever it may be, it lasts for a week. It's like,
Yeah,
you're doing that dance. You're behind the times. That's not what we're doing anymore.
Right. Yeah, you know, and it was really. I always had an appreciation for the the first gen of the sport bikes, and this is kind of where, so the old CB 750s, right?
Yeah.
They were pretty fast bikes for their time.
Yeah.
And, but what you seen a lot was people, they were chopping these things too. They were doing, not necessarily performance, not necessarily styling, upgrades, but, you'd see old bikes, they'd have, be chopped, stretched out, whatever. But back, I have the KZ 900 and the KZ 1000. And what I think, and you and I both agree, one thing about riding those bikes, what's really cool is you're getting on this bike and you already know where this bike is going to go. It's going to go to the Z1, then the Ninja. You know what this bike is going to turn into. And I thought that was something real fascinating about the 70s is that these bikes, they had a lot of power.
Well,
but they didn't stop. They didn't handle well. They, it was
the other
death
thing,
traps.
The other thing that kind of got ushered in really into motorcycling, kind of in that 70s into the 80s era, too. Talk about motorcycle fashion is full face helmets.
Yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, it was like Mickey Thompson or something like that was like one of the first guys that time period. Mickey Thompson, Don Garland, one of the drag racer guys, was the first one to be rocking a full face helmet.
Yeah.
And I know for some people it's like, man, they've had full face helmets for a long time. They weren't using them in NASCAR until, it was an option and when Dale Earnhardt died.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a requirement.
Yeah.
So, although they've been around for a long time, the utilization and the use of them is something that has slowly evolved. And just as you're talking about those guys, like us with the Japanese sport bikes in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, and we did wear the full face helmets. We're the same ones now that are riding the Harley baggers. And what else are we wearing?
Yeah,
we're still wearing full face helmets. So, bringing in a new era there too.
What and talking about the the clothing line, biker clothes, stuff like that. There's a lot of companies out there now that are making the retro, either 3/4 or full face.
Yeah,
helmet.
What's it? Biltwell.
I've got
Bell.
I've got a Bell that has the
I'm sure a million
AMF
other companies
like AMF style Harley Davidson logo on it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be AMF. I've got the Biltwell. What is mine? The Gringo, maybe. I can't remember.
You talk about the retro off road style. It's just a flat front.
Yeah. No visor or anything. Very comfortable helmet. It's cool style, especially when I'm on the Kawasaki's. It's definitely style appropriate.
Yeah, but you got to get the bubble visor.
No.
Snaps on it.
Even better. I've got the moto goggles.
Oh.
So kind of bouncing out of the 70s, going in the 80s. Speed Wars.
Okay.
All right. On a previous podcast, I talked about the first Gixxer that I ever rode was the 1100, and I said it was the first.
It's called a GSXR, but okay.
So I actually got to talk last week to my stepdad that owned it.
Okay.
He couldn't remember the exact year on it, but it was definitely an air-cooled model.
Did your mom ever figure out why you were asking about the motorcycle?
Yeah, I told her.
Okay. She's asked me a couple times, why in the world does he care about that bike? And I look at her and I go, I don't know.
Why would you not care about? So it's just like anything
you're
else.
the only one in this room right now that cares about that motorcycle.
And I'm the only one probably in this state that rode one when they were like 14 years old.
I don't know. We're
I'm
in Tennessee.
pretty sure.
We're in Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're in Tennessee.
I'm the only person I know that rode one at that age.
I'll give you that part. I will give you that credit.
So, sentimental value is all it is. Is it a very desirable bike? No. I want one for the same reason that somebody a lot older than me may want one because it was their first sport bike they bought brand new. They're hard to find. I've found maybe one. There's one guy here local that restores some of those old bikes. But
I've got a friend of mine that's done that with some of the late 80s, early 90s Honda sport bikes.
yeah, I think that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
And what's cool about them? So in the 70s, these bikes that were coming out, the CBs and the Suzuki GS 1100 and the KZs and all that, they were great straight line bikes, and so a lot of people would actually, stretch them out, chop whatever to straight line performance. In the repair manual for the KZ 1000, there are actually some sub notes in there. If so, to repair, let's say you're repairing something, there'll be a sub note on there for a performance or for a race setup. When it's talking about suspension, it'll actually have in the repair manual. You may want to use this spring or this whatever. It was basically a repair manual that had stuff in there for like, okay, we know you're going to tear this thing apart and stretch it out. Here's some tips on how to do it properly, which I've never seen in any other kind of repair manual before.
So when did that fad of stretch swing arms? Is that time period?
I guess it would have been in the 70s when there was, I think the 70s were a pretty big time for drag racing, especially on the amateur level, as far as it's organized.
Right.
Maybe even a somewhat of a sanctioned event, but it's still amateur.
Right.
And these bikes, even brand new, they weren't that expensive. And let's say maybe your budget's not going to, maybe for whatever reason, your budget's not going to allow you to build a car. Your budget's not going to allow you to, do whatever. You could get one of these bikes, and probably in the 80s used. Of course, the bikes that are 10 years older, or even 5 years older for that matter, are a lot more advanced. The newer ones are a lot more advanced and whatnot, so it's killed the value of the other ones. You can pick them up for nothing. If you're mechanically inclined, you can do a lot of performance mods, not a lot of money, and you can get a lot of speed out of these things.
So
that was probably around the time when the extended swing arm came in.
Okay. So you started, like I said, we kind of, full face helmets started kind of becoming a fashion thing. Extended swing arms, and of course with the same thing with the jack bikes that were trying to emulate the Harleys. Guys were running like the Windjammer style fairings and all those things on their bikes. Moving out of the 80s into the 90s, what'd you find?
So
we're starting to get to a time period of stuff that we can remember and recognize.
Yeah, well, and so you start getting into the 90s. Of course, the bikes are getting faster and faster and faster. They're handling better. They're stopping better. Everything's going water cooled now.
Not everything.
Most everything.
Not the good stuff.
That's right. Yeah, only the fast stuff. But dirt bikes.
They start becoming fad.
Well, they do. It's in the beginning of Supercross now.
Okay.
So now you're a whole other. Everything's starting to become more organized. The bikes.
Yeah.
So the bikes go from air cooled 2 strokes. Now they're high performance, water cooled. I mean, these bikes will kill you at this point.
Now are we talking about with the fashion statements, everybody wearing the Fox t-shirts and the Fox hats? And
So Troy Lee Designs.
Yeah.
Fox.
Yeah.
MSR, O'Neill, No Fear. Remember,
yeah, so
everybody had those stickers.
So the No Fear, that guy, I think he owned an IndyCar team. IndyCar or Formula One team. But he also had something to do with boat racing.
Probably. Yeah, I haven't researched it, but
which,
I don't know.
If he had to do anything with drag boats, that means he's came to this area. The only reason knowing that is because back in the day, they used to do the drag boat races up there at Nickajack.
Yeah.
So
seen those a few times.
That was their part of their circuit of where they used to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that definitely, it was kind of one of those things where the guys that were like actually using like Fox shocks,
mm-hmm.
they were trying to set themselves apart, and they weren't wearing the Fox riding gear stuff with the helmet. They actually had the Fox logo with the tail coming out of the O, trying to separate themselves. They're like, no, I'm an actual rider.
Right.
And some of those guys stepped out, and you started seeing them wearing other stuff, like rocking out, and they'd wearing like the Thor t-shirts and hats.
Yeah, Thor was another one.
And stuff like that.
Well, it was really when motocross and supercross almost, I mean, it's kind of in the mainstream, in the motorcycle world. This is the time, Team Honda is killing it. Motocross, supercross, you got Jeremy McGrath, Jeff Stanton, all of these guys that, it's the Roger DeCoster led team. They're killing it, Yeah. And I remember as a kid growing up, that's all we could ever think about. It's all we could ever talk about. Watched every race. Of course, we were riding. And people that were in the biker community, maybe they had, cruisers or sport bikes or whatever. They were kind of following what was going on at this time in Supercross because it was relatively new.
Well, and that's also a time period where Harley started to really start getting into dabbling with one-off series custom motorcycles too.
So think about this. What about the FXR?
Yeah, well, I mean, you had...
Is it the beginning of the performance bagger?
Possibly. So the FXR kind of covered everything, though. I mean,
80s
because
and 90s,
Well, not just that, but I mean, you had an FXR that was essentially a bagger.
You could do anything with it.
I mean, they had the touring bikes that had the fairings and the saddlebags on them.
They
had the stripped down models. Yeah, they had all that stuff. But not just talk about FXRs. The Harley Moo Glide, as a lot of people called it, or the Nostalgia, which was essentially what a Heritage or a Deluxe is, but it had the cowhide seat. And I don't mean cowhide leather. I mean cowhide, the white and black spotted cowhide. They had it on the seat. They had it on the saddlebags.
Yeah.
So that bike is actually called a Harley Nostalgia, and it has a nickname of a Moo Glide.
Yeah.
Which realistically, when they then decided to come back out, and sometime I think it was 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there, when they come back with a quote unquote nostalgia, that was your deluxe.
Yeah.
So, but also that same time period, where some people tend to think that people like Harley might be behind the ball. Okay. A lot of people were still chroming out their motorcycles, and Harley produces one of their first blacked out motorcycles ever, the Bad Boy.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, everybody says Harley's behind the. At this time, Harley, in my opinion, is they're no way behind.
Well, I think Harley for years has set trends.
Yes.
That trickle over into other stuff, and some people might not see it before it trickles into other brands of motorcycles. Then they notice it. Then they see Harley's doing it, and they get it backwards. They're like, "Oh, look, Harley's got." No, they took that from something Harley Davidson was doing.
Well, and I think Harley, one thing that they did well, and a lot of people, especially the performance guys, will probably disagree, and that's fine. But Harley in this 1980s to 1990s, they stayed in their wheelhouse. They did something really, really good, and they kept doing it. They didn't try to build their version of the R1 or the GSXR or the CBR or the Ninja that were coming up.
They stayed themselves.
They stayed themselves, and they perfected what they had already been doing because they knew that there was a market for it. And thank God that's what they did, because we still get to enjoy some of those bikes today. I mean, the Terminator bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about it, and I hear a lot of these people that are brand loyalists to other companies and stuff, and they'll talk about, oh, Harley's going to screw up. Harley's going to tank. I want to know how many people have said that for the years, because how many other companies out there have been around for 120 years?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I think what was last I heard,
we're talking about a continuous 120 years. They had a rough part where they sold to AMF.
Mm-hmm.
But Harley was still around. They never went away.
Well, and they came back with a vengeance, so to speak. In 1985, they came out with the new motor, the FXR.
So
I mean,
yeah, I mean it. Stuff has to change, and I'm sure. And this is the biggest thing that I hear these days, especially. What did we hear a couple years ago? You got rid of the Dyna. You ruined that motorcycle.
Everybody that wouldn't buy one, all of a sudden is just so heartbroken the damn thing's gone. Like if you could walk out here on a dealership floor and you can see the same Dyna sitting there, or 2 or 3 Dyna sitting there for an entire season.
How many FXRs in the mid '90s sat used on dealer floors for dirt cheap?
Nobody wanted
them.
Nobody wanted them.
Everybody's like, "Oh, that's terrible."
But the minute you take it away, it's the best bike they ever made.
Well, everybody's going to want what they can't have.
Well, that's the problem that's what I don't understand what the problem is, because you can still get it.
Yeah,
you can go buy an FXR for $3,500.
You can build an FXR from scratch. Going back to our conversation we had once before. You want an FXR? Here's a catalog. Build one.
Mm-hmm.
you can do it.
Yeah, a Dyna. Now that these Softails have come out, and they totally redone what it was to have a street bob and a lowrider and all that. It is leaps and bounds a better bike than the latter of the two. You can still go get a Dyna.
Yeah,
I mean, you can get a Dyna. You can pick them up for relatively cheap.
There's
2 sitting on the floor right there.
Yeah, there's a handful of used ones sitting out here right now.
Yeah, and guess what? That bike's been sitting out there for what? A few weeks now?
People are walking in here and they're buying new Softails. They're riding the bike and they're going, wow.
Well, it's
this
a better
is not
bike.
what I thought it was. Yeah, it's so much of a
It's a better bike. But that same person that'll get online and start typing, oh my, Harley's going to tank. They killed the best bike they ever made. Hadn't bought a brand new bike in 15 years.
Yeah.
And they want in 15 more years.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right.
Enough of a tangent.
I don't going around here. But all right. So the 2000s.
Okay.
So this was an interesting time to me because
for
both of us,
going from the late 90s and the 2000s, you know what I saw a lot as a kid?
choppers.
Flames.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, isn't it?
Flame paint jobs.
And it's not just flames. Like, you can do flames and they look pretty cool, but it is the gaudy, like,
if you want to put
it
flames,
looks like Hot Wheels sticker flames.
if you want to put flames on your Deuce Coupe, go ahead. If you want to put flames on your Fat Boy, here's a can of Vivid Black. Just leave it that way.
Exactly. Well, so the 2000s, now we start getting back into 70s style West Coast choppers.
Yeah.
Enormous extended forks.
But you're talking about guys, keep in mind, you're talking about guys that were raised.
Yeah.
In the heart of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was something, there was a nostalgia to it, but also there was this whole aura of badassery that went along with it. I mean, those bikes, even today, I'm not going to buy.
I'm just going to put this out there. Jesse James is a badass.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I mean, any man that, like, when you sit there and you try to take his guns away, so he makes his own handmade 1911 style pistols and ammunition to go with it. Yeah, he's a little bit of a badass.
You know what my favorite part about him is?
Pay up, sucker.
Yes, that tattoo. Oh my god! When I saw that, I wanted it so
when
bad.
His special came out.
Yes.
So I remember it started though. He was getting the $100 bill across his shoulder blades, and he was like, "This is kind of my family's crest." I was like, "Well, yeah, your name Jesse James." But yeah, his bikes. I mean, it did. The wrapped fenders.
Mm-hmm.
The fat tires.
Oh, yeah.
On
what
the
was
rears.
it, like a 230, 240 something fat tire?
No, back then a fat tire was a 190 and a 200.
Well, I thought they
which
got
is
up
a factory tire.
I thought
now.
on those they got up to like a 200.
They
Nobody else had ever done it.
Right.
As far as I know. Anyways.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If you go back and you look at those late 90s, early 2000, I don't like calling them choppers because that's not what they are. It's a full custom built motorcycle.
Sure.
But if you go back and you look at those bikes, they were running 180s, 190s.
Yeah, you know what?
200s,
I think you're right. Yeah.
And that was a big old wide tire.
180 was pretty common. I went to the Big Dog place in Daytona.
Now a 180 is common. That's what's on the
Well,
rear
no, back
street
then.
lights.
You back in the day, like during the custom built choppers.
You went to
I went to in Daytona.
Okay. Well, we used to have we had a chopper store here.
Yeah. What the hell was it called?
I keep wanting to say it was like Super Street, but I don't think it was Super Street. It's a import car magazine.
Anyway, I can't remember, but
Something like that.
So go to Daytona in, let's see, it's probably 2000. I think it was 2000, 2001. And we take off one day, and we're not doing a beach day this time. We're just bouncing around, me and my stepdad at the time, and we find there in Daytona there was, if I remember correctly, there was like 3 or 4 custom, like fully custom motorcycle shops.
Yeah.
Smaller, but there was one that Big Dog was there. I remember going in, it was Big Dog Cycles.
Yeah.
Never heard of them before. Later on, I would hear where they were making a lot of bikes, a lot of choppers, but got to go inside the and see their quote unquote showroom. Of course, there was probably like 4 or 5 bikes there, and I don't know if they were all for sale or already been sold.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Well,
That's the first time I've ever seen one really in person.
that was also the time period where I started realizing that a lot of people only look at what's on the surface. So I know a lot of people that, legitimately thought that Jesse James's money, Orange County Choppers money, Choppers Inc., which was Billy Lane down in Florida, thought their money was coming from building custom motorcycles. And it was kind of one of those things when I saw that, I was like, have you been to the website? Have you seen what they sell? Have you opened a hot bike magazine and flipped to the ads in the back? They're selling handlebars. They're selling wheels. Jesse James was actually selling whole frames.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were selling fenders and gas tanks. They were selling the components to build your own motorcycle. That's how they were making a living.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, in that same time period, and back in 2000, 2001, when you ordered a rear fender and a gas tank from Jesse James, that was a good chance that was touched by Jesse James. That was built by Jesse James. I mean, he was well known, but if you go back, it's on YouTube. I actually was watching it the other day before they did the special on him on Discovery Channel or whatever it was. Just like a year before that, there was one of those 2020 or whatever kind of doing his thing, because in California at that time, we weren't seeing it here. It was already popping off.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think, once his show came out, or not his show, but it was actually a special, like a 5 or 6 series special. You already had huge actors and athletes that had Jesse James West Coast Choppers motorcycles. So it was obviously at that point. But you could roll into the store, because trust me, I had it. I had the red West Coast Choppers beanie.
Hell
I had the West Coast Choppers hat.
From head to toe, man.
Yeah,
Head to toe.
I mean that was. I mean, I used to do my goatee just like how he did his, go all the way out to the side where it looks like you're supposed to have the mustache, but no mustache.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was the thing. People were seeing what was in front of them. But like I said, when they did that special before his series that they did, it showed him. It was only him and 2 other guys in that shop making parts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and he was hand rolling that stuff.
One of the best stories that I remember.
He wasn't stamping it at that time. I don't know if he is now or not.
Did you hear the story about him when he Sylvester Stallone called, or his assistant called and said, I'm so and so with Sylvester Stallone. He wants a motorcycle built, da 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 blah, and he wants it yellow because he wants it to match his yellow Ferrari. And Jesse's like, nope, sorry, I don't build yellow bikes. Click. So then the phone rings and it's Sylvester. He's like, hey, what the hell, and all these is like, sorry, dude, I don't do yellow bikes.
That's funny.
he said, I'm not going to build you one.
That's funny. Well, and kind of one of those things too. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's the Frisco style bikes, and that's kind of what Jesse's choppers that he was building was kind of emulating. The Frisco style, which kind of became more of a Southern California style. They're narrow.
Yeah.
They're narrow bikes. They don't run wide bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're designed to go splitting lane splitting.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun. I mean, that time period, I mean, it definitely takes me back to when we were kids, but it kept rolling. That time period kept rolling really up until about 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm. Well, guess what else came out around that time, too, in the 2000s?
Orange County Choppers.
No.
Okay.
The Hayabusa.
Can we change the subject now?
Well, we could, but a large part of the topic of the 2000s kind of depends on this bike. This is when something starts to come into and it is it's a fad, and it's awful, and it's plagued many bikes. They have fallen victim to this because of irresponsible riders. The extended swing arm.
So I just want to put it there right now. I know a guy locally.
Okay.
I believe he still has this motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a turbocharged 1488 kit on a Hayabusa.
Does he drag race it?
No.
Then it doesn't have to have it. It doesn't need a swing arm.
It also doesn't have a stretch swing arm.
Oh, that's a badass bike.
I said something to him about it one time, and he said, well, yeah, if you know how to ride the motorcycle, you don't have to have one. I was like, oh,
High five.
mic drop. Yeah. This dude is like 55.
Well, here's the thing. The extended swing arm is...
It's fashion for a lot of
Dude,
people.
it's-
Some people
it
use
is-
it.
it
I
is
go to the
fashion.
drag strip.
Yeah.
I see guys that need the
It
extended swing arm.
has a purpose. My thing is, if you're going to have an extended swing arm, you better have wheelie bars too.
Well, so
Or
here's
else it's
my
not
thing
solving
about
a purpose.
it. If you're going to have an extended swing arm, for the love of God, have an actual extended swing arm and not a plate that bolts up to your factory swing arm that sticks your tire out another foot.
Oh, God, it looks awful.
That's a fashion statement. That's all that is.
Well, and the thing is, the fashion is awful. It looks hideous.
Yeah.
So you see these, the Busas and the Ninja's got the 1400, is it?
You remember World of Wheels? The two guys that had the Hayabusas with like 300 rear tires. They had the stretch swing arms, and then the rear tire was completely out from underneath the back of the bike, and they'd have like the single-sided swing arm stretched with like a 300 or a 330 rear tire on Hayabusa.
It belongs at the drag strip, not at the car show.
That bike, a Hayabusa, is actually a brilliant motorcycle.
I've never got to ride one. I would love, if anybody out there has one, they would let me take. I'll let you ride my Street Glide. You let me ride your Hayabusa. I just want to ride one. I've
So
never got
the
a chance to do
design,
it.
the building design and thought of that motorcycle was actually a brilliant motorcycle. So it's actually built, as more of a touring sport bike.
It made perfect sense.
And for the people that bought it for that purpose, it's awesome. Okay. I've always wanted one because it is kind of that. It kind of gives me, there's more weight to it. I like a bike with a little bit more weight to it and stuff like that. But I can't buy one because there's a stigma that has gone along with the Hayabusa, like you said, about stretching it out or lowering it or doing this or doing that. And I'm gonna buy one and put apes on it. I mean, that's what I'm
I think I ought to just buy one and just plan on, if I can get one cheap enough that's in decent shape, keep it for a few months and just try to sell it, get my money back out of it, just so I can ride it.
So I would like to buy the first gen Hayabusa.
Yes.
I want to do like the Matt Mladen paint job on it though, and put the standard GSX-R 1000 tail on it. So do basically like a standard, because it's a GSX 1300, but essentially make it like a GSX 1300R type deal. So yeah.
Well, you know what I really like, especially like you said, the 1999, the first gen, this first gen Hayabusa. So that bike snuck in a sense because it exceeded the speed restriction. It was not supposed to come to the United States, and I love the fact that there was, and I know one guy personally lives here in town, bought one as soon as they came out. I think he bought one of the first one from White's. And, of course, they did the recall. Hey, the bike's too fast. Come here, bring it in. We're going to slow your bike down, and if you don't do it, we're going to void your warranty. What was funny is his warranty was voided the day he took it off the showroom floor because he had an exhaust put on it.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, yeah, middle finger to the air, let's go.
Well, so we're running along. I don't really think, I know you got some more stuff, but
I got 2 more points, and we can either do it now or we can do it in the next episode.
So we're talking about getting into stuff that most of our people should know. What do you got? Let's do it quick. Let's hit
So
'em.
we were going to talk about current trends and then what we think's happening going with the future.
Well, what do
that
you
might
wanna
be
do?
a good. That might be a good episode. Another episode.
So you want to make this a 3-parter? I'll
It's
make
your
it a 3-parter.
It's your podcast. I don't care. I'm just here to help.
It's my podcast, but you've only been here for all but one.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of more of our podcast. What do you think?
You know what?
3-part?
I don't want to rush.
I could go for an hour on current trends and where it's going.
Yeah, let's
because
not
that's
rush it.
kind of
Let's just do another one.
that's my thing.
Yeah.
So okay, we'll turn it into a 3-parter. I hope you like this subject. So all right, before we end part 2, how many you got? 1, 2, 3. All right. I hope you got a Heritage and you said you were going to leave the saddlebags on it. I so hope. I'm going to ride it. I'm going to leave the saddlebags on it. I'm going to leave the windshield on it. And I'm just going to ride it. I'm getting evil stares from your wife. Oh, I got 2 here. All right, laugh. All right.
All right. So
Oh, talk about a bike I hadn't seen in a while. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm getting too excited over here about this stuff. Oh, yep. Okay.
okay. So I have R1, KZ1000,
Yeah.
and the rocker. Selling the rocker. It's just not my style bike. Again, getting kind of into the chopper deal. And I think that was, a good move on Harley's part. The rocker. It was giving people kind of what they were asking for. They a little late to the party probably on the chopper scene, but better late than never. I'm sure people that have them love them. Just not my thing. KZ1000. So with that money that I'm making off that rocker,
You own one of those.
I own 2. But
One.
oh yeah, well 900. It's the same damn bike. But anyways, I'm going to take this KZ1000 and I'm going to do a resto mod.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to do cafe.
No, we are going updated suspension,
Yeah.
performance overhaul on the motor.
Yeah. Rebuild the motor, get more power out of it.
Yeah.
Strip every single thing else off the bike with the exception of the gas tank.
Yeah.
And you run like the new, like what was it? The 1200? They had like a 1200 and 1400, that retro style Kawasaki. You know what I'm talking about? It was like green. It looked like it was like every time you saw one, you're like, is that a 92?
It's a
and
900. It's a 900.
they're like, no, it's a 2007. You're like,
yeah,
what?
it was kind of like what Honda did with that CB 1100.
So what you do is you pull the suspension off of those bikes and you shove it onto yours.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel you now. So that's what I would want to do. But I would have to run like a cafe style tail and clip-ons.
Well, I don't know what I mean, I do know that it would be it would be performance. It would be old school bike with all the modern goodies. Kind of like what I would do, the exact same thing that Joe Rogan did with his Mustang. Not Mustang, Corvette.
This Corvette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the direction I would go in. The bike that I'm going to ride, I've never got to ride one.
Did you get the Hayabusa?
No. I'm going to pretend this is a 2000, either a 1998, 99, or 2000 model, R1.
Up to 03, remember?
Is it up to 03?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we talked about that once before. 01, 02, they did a slight change in the headlights.
Yeah. I like the late 90, early 2000. The colors, blue and white.
Yeah, it's
Yamaha.
gorgeous.
All Yamahas are blue and white. I don't.
Well, no,
else.
they had the old school yellow and black.
Not interested.
They also had a red and white one. I like the
Kawasaki's are green, Suzuki's are yellow, and Yamahas are blue.
Hondas are red.
End of discussion. And Hondas are red.
Triumphs are green. Hunter
I
green.
don't care.
What colors are Harleys?
Gray
Black.
and black.
Wait, I have a black one. What color's yours? Gray.
Charcoal pearl.
Charcoal.
Pearl.
So, all right.
Pearl.
So I ended up, lucky as I am, with 3 Harley Davidsons.
Nice.
All right. So I have my 3 are the XR1200,
Yeah.
the Crossbones, and an FXDR.
So Crossbones is what Megan sat on last summer when we went on our little trip, and
Did you
she
like it?
loved it. She didn't get to ride it, but she did love that bike.
So the Crossbones actually come. So, and we've been talking about this here lately, and I can't remember what it was called. So Harley at one point did a customs thing, and you could buy essentially, like when that chopper fad was going on, you could buy a bike from Harley, full factory Harley warranty and everything. That was a customized motorcycle. They were taking the Heritage Springer. Okay. They were stripping it down. They were taking the bags off of it. They took everything off of it. They put apes on it and a solo spring seat and blacked it out.
Giving the customer what they asked for.
What does that sound like now? That's a Crossbones. So, okay. So FXDR, I have seen some people completely strip them down to nothing and rebuild them and make some super cool motorcycles. That being said, if you're stripping it down to completely nothing and rebuilding it, you no longer have an FXDR, in my opinion.
Thank you.
So I'm going to sell that one. Well, might be, there's ask for every seat. I'll find somebody. I'm going to just ride the XR1200.
Yes, me too.
And the Crossbones is already fairly customized, but there's still some stuff I think I can do to it. The solo spring seat, super cool, but I think I'm going to yank it off, probably run something like a little 2-up king queen type seat. Maybe change the bars out for something a little bit different. And maybe do a little bit more power in the motor. Just kind of do just some touches to it. Throw some exhaust on it, kind of make it more my style. I might paint it
dirty and loud. That's that bike. That Crossbones. Don't ever wash it. Put the loudest pipes you possibly could. That's the style for that
one of the things I'd
love
probably do to it is paint it. I wanted a flatback motorcycle forever.
Patina.
You know that.
Patina.
But flat black requires more care. Flat black either requires more care
or no care at all. Yeah.
And I have some sort of care. Every once in a while, I want a super clean motorcycle.
Yeah. I am your only source of care.
And if you neglect that motorcycle, you're not going to ever get it back to that point.
I say never touch.
Never touch
Leave it in the rain.
So before we get off here, so on Instagram the other day, I come across a guy that has a Road King like your dad's.
Yeah.
So he took everything off the tins. Okay. This is what it appears that he did. It's super cool. He took everything off the tin. So all the lights, the trim, the on the gas tank, he took the caps off, took the dash off, took all that stuff off, sanded it all down, and did like maybe some of the I think you do like vinegar and something, and you kind of get the little bit of surface rust, like what some of the hot rod guys do.
Yeah.
And he did that, and then he put all the chrome trim back on it, like just left it like that. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I saw it. Cool. I was like, that's because it was, dude, so he had like the black nacelle and everything, but it still had the bright chrome trim on the fenders. He had the fender trim on the bottom, on the back and everything. The paint was the only thing that was rusty. Everything else was either black or chrome, and it was spotless.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So anyways, like, you heard us. We're going to turn this into a 3-parter, I guess, next episode, which we had already talked about doing an entire episode kind of on what's going on right now that we see what people are doing. So I guess our part 3 will be that episode.
Yeah.
What's happening right now?
What's going on right now? And, more importantly, too, where is it going? Where is our little, where's our hobby going? Where's it headed?
I've got some strong opinions.
Where do we think it's going? Where would we like to be going? Yeah.
So once again, I want to thank you for joining us today and listening in. So catch us next week. We are on everything as far as I know. If you're at the house and you're hanging out and you're trying to figure out what to do, you can just kind of walk into your living room or your bedroom, wherever, and go, "Hey, Alexa, play the Daily Biker podcast." Y'all have a good one.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.